What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Shocking On Toy Reviews. I am Wilson, joined by
Toast,
and we've got a special guest reviewer, the one who supplied this toy.
That would be me, Dan.
Audience Dan, okay. And what is this, Audience Dan?
This would be the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Afterlife, I guess, technically, ECTO-1 Ghostbusters car.
And it's made to fit your nice 6-inch guys that you love so much, isn't it?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
That it's not.
Yes.
No, it's apparently, from what I understand, meant for some figures that will come out once the movie eventually, hopefully, comes out, that are going to be 3.75-inch scale.
Yeah.
I just tested it out with a couple of the other figures you had over there. It looks to be about right. I guess we'll see how those look. My intention, though, is just to display it behind my Plasma Series Ghostbusters.
Gotcha. Toast, why don't you run us through some of this hot sculpt and paint action?
there's quite a bit of both sculpt and paint on this. So we'll start at the front. I think this might be the weakest paint.
It looks airbrushed.
It does look airbrushed. It's heavily airbrushed. I'm not really sure what effect they're going for. Dirt, maybe?
Yeah.
Dirt or burning, I would imagine.
It's very brown in the front with an extremely clean license plate.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. So we've got the rust all around the edges. Looks good. Card itself is a very off-white, and you can see that too is in shades of gray. We've got the cracked symbol here. Looks fantastic.
I love that detail.
Cracked symbol. Not sure what this is supposed to be.
It's where the old handle for the door used to be, because that door has been modified to do the suicide door, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
The original ECTO-1 and Ghostbusters 1 and 2 does not have that feature. It's one that I think originated in the cartoon series back in the day, and they've now added it into the movie, which can be seen in some of the previews, so that's not a spoiler. But we'll get to that later.
You know, we'll spoil what we want on this show. It's our show.
When we want.
When we want it.
The wheels are well done. They are somewhat rubbery.
They
like
move well, though.
It's like a softer plastic. They roll great.
So I got all that nice junk up at the top that you always see on the Ghostbusters stuff. Although some of it looks a little, I don't want to say cheapy, but this whole thing kind of gives me a feeling of when you're holding an old Star Wars vehicle. You know?
I don't. Elaborate.
I would agree. I know
just
what you mean.
like looking at the stuff up top, I'm like, oh yeah, that reminds me of old Star Wars vehicle stuff, and like just some of this.
How it's kind of more just like shapes.
Yeah, it's more shapes and just kind of things thrown on there. It's all dull in color.
I mean, to be fair, the stuff on top of the Ghostbusters car basically was just
yeah,
painted
it always
shapes
was
and,
just
and
junk.
junk.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. It does have that sort of a feel to it.
So if we're talking about paint in general, I think the body of the car is done really well, and then we get to the roof stuff, for instance, and we've got these very clean blue pipes. Most of the stuff up here is clean, and it just clashes with the dirtiness of the rest of it. I don't know. Maybe that's story specific. Maybe there's a reason behind that. It looks like they put money in places and not everywhere. Like all of this detail up here is really well done. They painted it, they sculpted everything, and then we get just these tiny gray plastic mirrors that with no reflective surface. Like it's weird.
And it's weird because they did nice translucent lights up here, which actually matched there's translucent on the back there. But yeah, some of that stuff, they could have just done one pass of dirtiness.
And I'm sure this stuff it's manufactured separately, so you could have just done whatever dirty spray you were going to do and then combined it. This cannon thing up here rotates and it rolls.
And there we go.
That's not literally it, though. No.
Yeah,
So the doors open.
that's all we care about.
Doors open. There's a seat inside that comes out.
Oh, that does. I didn't. No one showed me that feature.
There's
Now I feel like an asshole.
just a tiny bit of paint right there.
Oh,
There's a Proton Pack on the back of that chair if you look closely. So.
There's another door here, and there's a nice amount of detail inside as well. We're gonna get to this here, and then inside there we can see some equipment and some more equipment. If we can get the door out of the way, there we go. And even there's a really nice dirt wash all over the floor of the inside.
Right, the inside almost got a little more detail than the outside got.
Floor that we don't even really see. Got more work than the stuff up top. Accessory. Spoiler.
remote controlled strap. Now that rolls, right? Does that actually roll?
Not as easily as the
Not
car, but the wheels do turn-ish.
technically.
They're not like nice toy car wheels, though.
Okay.
They're just kind of...
They're there to
Yeah.
do the job.
They technically turn.
And they technically turn. Just like me.
And this door's in the back of the car.
Yeah.
There's a grooved spot back here.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Doesn't lock in, just sits there loose.
Wow, that's not nice. To show that the car is also not 3 3/4 scale, RoboCop can't fit in it.
Who made this? This is Haya?
Haya.
Okay.
I don't know. He's not made to go with this thing. He's not a Ghostbuster. I was just hoping that it would for my own edification.
Yeah, so this particular RoboCop doesn't fit inside this, but I think he is scaled correctly to 3 3/4.
I will point out, if we recall, RoboCop can't fit in a car without pulling the seat out of it. So if we could pull the seats out of the car, I'm sure he would fit.
Dude, I got one leg in it almost. If you could take the top off, I could get him to fit in there.
He'd fit in the gunner seat fine.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure. But here's a 6-inch.
That is a Plasma Series Ray action figure.
Is it the same company that made this
Yeah,
thing?
it's part of the actual same series of toys.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. You can put that one in this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Laying down.
That's why I
Laying
said-
down in the back.
back.
Yeah, like a hearse. Like the
Yep.
hearse that it is. You can put a dead body in the back.
Playmobil. So the new one is slightly longer. This is nose to nose, so you can see it's about 1 inch longer at the back.
Like, look, the roofs are almost the exact same.
Yeah, roof detail is almost exactly the same.
I do wish that the
I don't know how.
Plasma Series had.
All the buttons that have light and sound icons.
Yes,
It's brilliant.
typically
And this one doesn't do
it
anything
does
like that.
not. It does not.
So we haven't talked about price yet. Usually I save this for final thoughts, but since we just talked about light and sound effects, how much does this one cost?
That was, I want to say, if I'm correct, $49.99.
I believe you're correct.
Yes.
So what would you
Yes.
think if they put lights and that in there? Then 60.
At least. I mean, we're talking about Hasbro, so I was thinking
Yeah.
$20,
Oh,
70.
Yeah,
Okay.
it probably would have knocked it up to where no one would have bought this thing, except for me.
I still think you might be the only one that bought this. All right, finally down to the bottom line on this. This thing's a real kind of confusing thing for me. Parts of it I think are really well done, like some of the scratching up and the rust and stuff. I like the way certain doors open. They open wide enough that if you had figures that were this scale, you could probably easily get them in there. I would hope, even though RoboCop doesn't fit. But I mean, he should be driving a cop car. But anyways, where was I going with this? Who knows? The top looks really cheap compared to the rest of it. And what's unfortunate, you said this thing was 50?
Yes.
Okay, so the Playmobil one, how much was that?
Oh God, I would have to look it up, but I want to say it was at least 60.
See, so
But it came with a lot more things.
and
and
it came with
features,
and it,
That's
that
surprising.
thing, that is.
and it's like indestructible.
Okay.
And,
See, and that thing
and
has
it looks just like it did when I've had it displayed on the shelf.
that
So
thing has lights and sounds, and
Yeah.
like I feel like they should have done that with this. if just go a little extra mile, because right now this thing's kind of useless if you were wanting to have guys to drive around and play with. No kid's going to buy this because you can't put anybody in here yet.
Well, the kids aren't going to have toys to put. Yeah.
You know what I mean? No kid's going to want this because there's no toy that he can get. But of course, the movie isn't
there's
out
no
yet.
movie.
There's no movie. So this thing's kind of pointless. Also, what I find kind of irritating, at least for me, is that I feel like this would be better if it was just a model kit that kind of looked like this. But then I could also then go in and like fix that stuff. Like, to me, a model kit would be cheaper and better than going this route.
So you would want to paint it yourself?
Not necessarily. If like they had the front that came like this, I would go in and fix up areas where I wanted it to be, like this and the top and stuff. If it was a kit, I would like them to come already pre-dinged up, but then I can go in and add more if I want.
Oh, okay.
Just to jump in real quick, the Playmobil car I can find anywhere from $40 to about $65.
Okay.
So depending where you can get it for even cheaper.
Wow. Now that one is also Playmobil though, so that sucks.
Not for what
No,
I'm going
it
to use
sucks.
it for.
No, you know what? You, Playmobil. Playmobil is the bastard cousin of Lego, and I'm sorry. Like no one
show me your
wants.
Lego DeLorean. I'll show you my Playmobil DeLorean, and
it
we'll see
doesn't.
which one's better.
It doesn't matter. I'm not talking. We're not talking Back to the Future. We're talking this '80s piece of shit.
That's not the Playmobil car.
I know. We're talking about this thing.
What's your rating?
2.5. It's fine. It's not for me. It's fine, but you got nothing to put it. Right now, all it is a kind of expensive shelf piece. And that's what Dan said he was going to use it for, so then he's happy. But if this you're looking for this as a toy, it fails right at the moment.
I think you need the figures to go with it as accessories.
Yeah.
It's almost the reverse, because
why wouldn't you? I guess it would be nice to see them release all the figures together with the car. Do a giant set.
I don't know what they're thinking as far as timing goes. Maybe the next wave of plasma figures aren't ready yet.
I don't know.
That's what I didn't understand myself. I initially thought this was supposed to be like to tie in with the plasma figures. This would be the car from 1 and 2, but they're like, no, this is specifically the Afterlife car.
Yeah,
and
you got duped.
Obvious.
You got duped.
No, I mean, I'm fine with it. I
Stop
still like how it looks.
talking yourself into it. You got duped. See, when you pull a Wilson like this, you got to learn when to admit that you did it. And that you got duped. You didn't read the fine print that said it was from Afterlife.
I pulled a Wilson with all my Walking Dead action figures.
There you go.
So I'm going to echo some of what Wilson just said, which is it's somewhat confusing. I think it's well sculpted. It is in places well painted and in others less well painted. I think it's a decent shelf piece, which is... if I were to buy this thing, which I'm not going to, but if I were, it would be what I want. I am the shelf piece guy who doesn't play with his toys. He puts them on a shelf and then looks at them. And in that regard, I think it's mostly well done. And you probably, from a shelf, won't even notice the inconsistent paint. So I'm going to give it, I'll go 3.5 hammers.
I kind of like Toast. Most of my toys end up in display cases or on shelves and don't get played with or posed or things like that. I got this.
Don't even pose your toys?
Well, I mean, like I'll pose them for the initial display, but I don't like take them out and like change them every day. I mean, once they get set, that thing.
Buy a statue.
Anyways,
this is a statue with working doors.
Yes, and remote controlled trap. Anyways, I bought it so I could put it in the back of the display case behind my Plasma Series Ghostbusters and Dana Barrett and Gozer or Zool or whoever the hell that was, and eventually Rick Moranis and Demon Dogs and all that. So it's going to be behind all that stuff and just be there because it's the ECTO-1. It's iconic. I love that car. I have several toys of this car. That Playmobil one is also mine. I'm going to display that behind the retro Walmart figures because it looks like the cartoon car. And there's no car that goes with them, really, that I can't find from this decade. That said, I would probably give it a 3 hammers out of 5, just because I also expected it for the price point to be a little bit better than it is. It's not terrible, but I do wish it had the lights. I mean, it looks like it should have lights. I don't quite get why it doesn't. I agree that all the stuff on the top of the car, which is some of the most important details that everyone remembers, looks like they kind of just slapped it on there. I'm happy with it for what I'm going to use it for. I might throw a little extra paint on it, but it's going to be behind everyone else, so I probably won't put the effort in. It's fine.
I have no idea what anyone else said or discussed. I can't believe they made this. I refuse to believe that there's going to be a separate scale of movie toys for characters that no one cares about. So I think this is wholly just to trick people into buying an ECTO-1, to think that this is, they're going to do a plasma 3 3/4 inch. No, they're not going to do a 3 3/4 inch Bill Murray, which would be the only reason to buy an ECTO-1 in my opinion. From what little I've paid attention to, the paint is atrocious in spots. The weird brown rust just looks awful and haphazardly applied.
Are you mad at the Ghostbusters?
I am not mad. I feel bad for anyone who buys this toy. It is kind of 100% pointless, because you can buy smaller, cheaper, better looking ones to go in your display. It is in scale with nothing. It says 1/18 scale. It kind of is. It's more like 1/20th, because RoboCop doesn't look right standing next to it. These Joy Toy guys don't look right standing next to it. They don't look like they can fit in it. I'll agree. I heard some of it. Some of the final thoughts, the top pieces look like they're from a different toy.
Star Wars.
It looks like they took a model kit, gave it to a first-time painter, he painted it, but they didn't give him the full set, so he went to a wonderful toy store, maybe in Kokomo maybe, and found like the 1980s
model shapes
or whatever it was,
just shapes, that's what we call them,
and grabbed them and like just glued them on. Like, yeah, I could put some effort in the rest of it, and no. So I didn't rate it. I'm gonna give it a 2. For $50, it's actually better than I would expect for $50.
Really?
In today's age, to get a vehicle that has moving parts and like the wheels roll, the 3 of the doors open,
4, including the hatchback.
Yeah.
4 doors open, and the dirt on the hood, that paint is great. That's very nice, but this rust crap, or whatever that is supposed to be, just looks like someone took a...
See, I would have reversed that. I thought the rust looks a little bit better than the dirt on the hood, just because it's so uniform. It just looks like they dipped the car in dirt, like they upended it somehow, and like he drove it into a lake a few feet and backed out. Like, I don't...
Dipped in coffee.
Yeah.
But this looks like when I sweep my garage out and don't lift the door up, and there gets a poof of dirt in a perfect...
And that scene is actually right in the trailer, I guess.
Right? But...
Okay, fair enough.
But like this stuff...
I think it could have used a more... I think it's too heavy-handed, maybe.
It's too thick.
Like it could be more like a texture than just like a flat brown, maybe.
It is 100% they're going to re-release this in a nice, clean version.
Oh, I guarantee it, and I'll probably buy it because I'm an idiot.
But yeah, but like this stuff looks cartoony up here compared to this.
It does. It doesn't quite match.
This with a slightly better paint job or cleaned up version would look like an actual model kit, like a tester's model kit or whoever. But this looks
like a cheap toy.
Yeah, like this
other than maybe like that one thing.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah.
Yeah, totally. I do like the wear on the logo. That's cool. But yeah, I don't know what this is for. Like, and in my lifetime, I have never seen a line where they put out the vehicle first. Like,
well, that's the thing I don't understand about the line is because they call it part of the Plasma series, which has 6, 7, technically 8 figures now, if you count all the Build-A-Figure and the Rick Moranis 2-pack. But like I said, this is specifically for Afterlife, and none of those figures are. I'm hoping when the movie comes out.
I could be wrong. They might not have even said, but I'm pretty sure in the presentation they said the Afterlife figures were plasma figures too, weren't they?
I mean, I would hope so. I would hope they'd be in the same scale. So are there going to be two scales of figures? That's confusing. It is. It is
Star Wars and G.I. Joe, and like pick a scale, make everything to that scale.
100% agree.
You could literally this would probably be $200 if they made it 6-inch scale. This thing. I'm sorry you bought it, Dan. I hope you like it. I can't imagine how your display will look when it doesn't fit, because it's too big for your display.
I'm going to be starting a GoFundMe for my therapy for how
it's
downtrodden
effectively
I
a
now
backdrop.
feel. That's, yes.
Then print one out on your computer that looks in scale and is better. I'm just mad because this is terrible. No. Yeah.
On that note.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for visiting, Dan.
No problem.
I don't know if you called yourself Dan. I don't know what your fake name is.
It's
Audience Dan.
Yeah, Audience Dan.
Dan. Thanks, Audience Dan.
You're welcome, the Berg.
Man. I want that on a t-shirt.